my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's time for our Tech Daily Update. In our daily lives, we're used to seeing technology disrupt or change industries. In fact, it's becoming a daily occurrence. But how, in the future, will new advents change the way we shop, earn our salary, and otherwise generate income? How will we survive? Our resident tech expert, Bryan Smith, joins us today to explore something that certainly piques my attention, the sharing economy. What is it exactly, and how might it possibly change our lives in the future? Bryan, thank you so much for joining us. I can see that this really interests you, man. Does it scare you or does it excite you? What are we talking about when we use the phrase sharing economy or shared economy?
So it excites and terrifies me at the same time. I think the sharing economy is something we can expect in the future, and what that means, to break some heinous jargon down. Essentially, the sharing economy refers to using the assets we might have today to accrue income and also expenditure. So to break that kind of idea down, whether one might be able to rent out something as commonplace as their refrigerator over the internet and then accrue income from that, all by sharing.
I mean, how far off are we? Are there certain sectors and industries and individuals running on this kind of principle already now? Or is it more commonplace than we think? We just haven't identified it or collectively put it into a group and labeled it.
So I think the interesting thing is that we're at the cusp of this kind of idea taking place, and we see appliances become smart or connected to the internet all the time. And the next crux in the next 10 to 50 years will be our appliances, our assets at the home becoming connected to the internet and having an economy of their own, where you can share assets and then get income from sharing those.
And then our brains will be next. You can rent my brain it's going to be vacant for the next month. You can rent it. How close are we to this becoming commonplace? Do you think this is the way we are moving now? What about this scares you? What could go wrong, do you think, in this?
So I think there are two major things to consider for the person on the street, is that we're used to considering that our income is one monthly lump sum that comes through every month, and then we have expenditures that goes off from that, which we would go to our supermarket to buy things at. I think there are two things that could change that are worrying but also very exciting. So in the future, we might have what we could call salary streams, where instead of having one lump sum at the end of every month, we are paid per action. So let's pretend if you are a delivery driver, instead of being paid a monthly salary, you could be paid per delivery. And in terms of purchasing items at a supermarket, precisely, it's the autonomous Uber example. And then we also have the concept of autonomous grocery shops, where you can walk in, pick up an item and walk out frictionlessly, which means you don't have to engage with a cashier. And that kind of technology has been debuted by Amazon through facial recognition, surveillance, and through near-field communications.
And from a cash and transit perspective, that could be something really, really special. How close is South Africa to this kind of reality? And do you see it playing out here with our kind of mindset?
That's a good question. I think this is definitely a change that will occur between the next 10 and 50 years. So this is not going to be rapid at all. It's going to be a case of industry creeping into our everyday lives. I think for South Africans, the incentive is that this could create a more equitable society in which you don't just buy an asset, expect to sell it or grow over a number of years in your typical fashion, that you can actually use your assets to bring an income to your daily life. I think the next 50 years in technology and finance are really going to be something to watch.
Oh, and then you throw information into the mix, and things are going to get really, really interesting. But whether change excites or terrifies you, it's coming, so brace yourself.